one room's jam done. So these are the track units we got. They got a little roller wheel on the bottom and like a disc that gets routed in. It sits in like a U-shaped groove that runs along the head, so everything's going to be perfectly level and plumb, which it should be now. So I'm going to try this room first because it's the one that we're going to spend the least time in. I say that, we'll probably spend more time in here. See how we get on. Public holiday today, so no work. So the wardrobe's finished, other than handles because we don't have any yet. So the traps are all installed and all functions well. Definitely highlights the importance of getting your jams perfectly plumbed. And all I've done is just set the doors up so the view from the room, you don't see the join as much, but it's looking pretty good. Door handles are on, they all work quite well. So now it'll be jams and wardrobes for the master, and architraves and skirting for everything else. Apologies if you can hear the lawnmower next door. This in the trade is what we call fucking lucky. I followed the instructions with the doors for the trim height, which is door height plus 30mm, but it didn't allow for having to pack the floor, which was about 7mm out. Better see down there. And pack the head, which was about 2mm out. So I literally had to more or less drag the wheels once they were at full reduction into the track. So any more than that and we would have had a slight problem. So I'll have to remove them again to paint them, unfortunately, but they're in. Wardrobe's done. Start architraves in the baby's room now. This little gap that you put around your architrave is called a quirk. So I normally run a 3mm quirk on doors, so I just set my square to 3mm, hook it on the edge, gets you your top and your side. Cut the side first, mark it over length, and chuck this back in the tripod. So you mark it, cut it over length so it's a little bit higher than the actual join, and then mark where the quirk intersects across the mitre. Start on the hinge side because that's going to go up to the wall. Across the head, down the side, easy. Managing to sneak in a couple of hours after work, chucking some architraves in. But unfortunately I need to rip some. It's just not worth getting the table saw out for anything less than a couple of cuts. So this, which I thought I could get away with a 40mm, and if you can see my finger in that gap, I need about 45, 50. So what I'll do is I'll get a 60mm and rip it so it touches essentially the whole way to the wall. But it will obviously not sit over there, it'll sit correctly. And then the skirting will just butt to it, and that's going to mean I'm not going to have to try and deal with this tiny little 10mm gap in painting and all sorts of stupid shit like that. So that's alright, I can use those architraves for the wardrobe. The weekend again. Sharon still has been and gone. They have to basically put all the tracks and everything in for all the glass because it's frameless and let it sit, but he fucked us around a bit, so he's meant to be here again on Thursday. Didn't bother calling to say he wasn't coming, so he's back here tomorrow, otherwise we'll get someone else in. I won't name and shame yet, but if you're out this way, certainly feel free to call me before you book an installer so it's not him. Arcs are pretty much all done. I can't really do anything with the ensuite until he's done, so I need to rip architraves for that door and the door in the other room. I can't do arcs and skirting in here until we've tiled, just because they have to butt down onto them, and that hides your cuts rather than running your skirting to the ground and butting your cuts up to them, so it just looks a bit prettier. Go into the other room, Jesse's sleeping, so just architraves are done in here, outside, windows done. Had to scribe that guy at the top because that bulkhead runs out. And skirting is well on the way. This guy here I just glued up in a single piece just because he's so small. Unfortunately, normally you'd run that corner architrave to the wall to hide it, but because the wall runs out, I can't fit a 60mm, there'll still be a gap, so it'll actually look worse. That guy's just sitting there, he's not actually tacked for now. And this is how you do, I'm just going to have to fat finger this for a second, a false mitre. If you do an actual mitre, it pulls apart. So this guy gets glued like that, but your joint isn't mitered, so it will hold much better. And I'll swap hands. As far as how it looks, you've been none the wiser. Once it's all sitting in place, it just looks like it's mitered. So I just made myself a little template because I haven't done that in a while, so still works. Yeah, and then we'll chug back in. I want to finish the skirting in this room, then I want to finish the wardrobe. I'm just going to do some little 40mm bead around the top to close that off. And then it's meant to piss down around lunchtime with thunderstorms, so hopefully I can get everything done with the saw, otherwise I've got to try and fit it in the garage.